Got to keep the place neat and tidy.
Yeah, well done.
Welcome everyone, welcome members to tonight's meeting. Simon is not here tonight. For those who don't know me, I'm Brad. I'm chairing tonight's meeting. I believe we have some visitors here tonight. Could I ask Ross and Robin Wright to stand up, please? Welcome. So the question is, what do you drive?
105 series. In case you missed it, it's a 105 series Land Cruiser, 2006. Had it for 11 years, sort of better join the Toyota Owners Club and get some use out of it.
All right, welcome. Luke Johnson.
G'day.
Hello, Luke. Yeah, what do you drive?
I drive a 91 4Runner.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you and welcome. And James Hardman. Hello, James. What do you drive?
Yeah, I got a 95 series, like Prado. So, yeah.
Good man. All right. Next item is my report. My report's a few reminders. The bush dance. There was a reminder in the weekend wrap, and apparently they're still taking bookings for the bush dance this weekend. So if you're interested, please get yourself on it. Cruiser-Kana Committee. There's still vacancies for the Cruiser-Kana Committee. So if you're inclined to get involved, please do. Could I ask Rob and Alison Duff to come up here, please? Presentation of 10 new badges to Alison and Rob. Congratulations. We have a guest speaker tonight, Dion Henderson from Way Station. Dion, if you'd like to come up, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the owner of Way Station Caravan and Vehicle Weighing in Victoria. If you are driving a vehicle, you are solely responsible for that vehicle to be legal and compliant. My background too, I'm qualified in road rescue. I've been doing rescue for 21 years. There's a lot of things in my service that I offer that is contributing to people's lives being lost on the road and severe injury, all of which can be avoided. Safety features on vehicles, things like that. It's not just all about weights. It's about what items on your vehicle are actually you got to be compliant with. Okay, a lot of people. For an example, breakaway when you're towing a vehicle. Hands up here who connects their breakaway to their tow bar. Come on, more hands than that because I get very little that pass with this. Okay. Your breakaway must not be connected to anything to do with your tow bar whatsoever. Okay, that includes the tongue of the tow bar and the whole tow bar itself. Reason for that is the whole tow bar can come away from the vehicle. Okay, I'll give you a Toyota for an example. It's bolted on. Okay, you're relying on the person at Toyota to have done their job properly, and that's just using a Toyota for an example. Every manufacturer is the same, except for Land Cruiser 200 series. It's actually part of the chassis, but the way the legislation is actually written, it must not be connected to anything to do with the tow bar, okay? Roadworthy item, number one. All right, you will lose your insurance with that. Don't get me wrong with that. Hands up here, which is another one. Who crosses their chains when towing? Fantastic. Did you know it's actually not legislation? You need to cross your chains. You do not need to. We advise it. It's an advisable item. So two things on that scale there. You got your breakaway that's actually a roadworthy item that no one gets right. And then you've got your chains that everyone crosses, which is advisable. It's actually not going to lose your insurance if you don't. We just advise it because it cradles that trailer if it comes off, okay? So these are the things that are part of our service that a lot of people are getting the wrong things right and the right things wrong, all right? Hands up here who have a Land Cruiser. I'm in the right club, I hope. Keep the hands up who think that they don't have a problem with weights. I'll tell you right now, Land Cruiser is one of the highest on the list that fail on our list. About 8 out of 10 fail. Keep the hands up if you've got a 100 series Land Cruiser. In 7 years, we've never had a 100 series pass. Watch the hands fall down now, okay? This is the reality of it, okay? 100 series Land Cruiser has been left behind. I believe there is no longer any upgrades available to the 100 series Land Cruiser, all right? It doesn't take much for a 100 series Land Cruiser to be overweight. All right, and that's by itself, not even towing. We haven't even got to the towing stage yet. 80 series, well, we very rarely do we weigh one of those, but no, they're in the same boat as the 100. Same boat as 100. So fantastic vehicle, don't get me wrong, but that's the truth of it. You know, my equipment's been around 7 years. We're accurate to 500 grams, so it's quite precise. My new kit that's coming from Italy is going to be accurate to 50 grams. So it's quite precise. There's no leeway for road compliance. If you're over, you are over. All right. And that's without talking about towing a vehicle. The ball weight becomes part of the payload. Okay. This one here, I've chosen to pull the client's details off this report right here. This was one I did today. This is a 79 series Land Cruiser. Hands up who's got a 79 series Land Cruiser. Fantastic. You know how many of those we have passed? Getting to be about the same as the 100 series, including the new 79 series. This one here has had a GVM upgrade to 3620. This client's wife was not in the car and his fuel tank was not full. He was 29.5 kilo overweight. And he's already had a GVM upgrade done to it. I've now sent him to Lovells to get the 3900 upgrade done. Okay. Good thing about a 79 series and a 200 series, there is GVM upgrades available for you. Okay. 100 series, there is not. That's the difference. 200 series Land Cruiser sitting on the showroom floor with 10 litres of fuel in it with 3 passengers on board is overweight. Without talking about what extras you've got on it. No vehicle is designed to have all the accessories hanging off it, otherwise it would come out standard with it. Okay, these are all facts. We work closely with Lovells and we do a lot of research into this. 300 series, anyone got one of those here? Oh, okay. Love your vehicle? We've only had about 2 out of about 70 pass so far. Reason for that is they've got a lesser GVM rating than the 200 series. Okay. At this point in time, there is no upgrade available for the 300 series and they're struggling to get it passed. Reason for that is Toyota is a very, very smart manufacturer. They don't like people messing with their product. Lovells have tried, Queensland has tried, and every time they think they got it, the system goes into meltdown and goes into limp mode. Because it's a very smart vehicle. We're getting smarter with our technology. It will eventually happen, and it's due to happen. It was meant to be released in March, and now it's been dropped out to May. So it will eventually happen. What it will consist of and what it will get rated up to, we don't know yet. Okay, Lovells aren't entirely sure, and it's got to get approved by the Australian government and manufacturers. So I'm sure it'll happen, but same again. They've gone a little bit backwards with this one. All right. Okay, so this one here, he was quite surprised. He thought he'd done everything right. This vehicle was actually an ex-DSE vehicle, emergency service vehicle. It had all the upgrades available done to it when he purchased the vehicle. He thought he would be totally right until he turned up today. And as I said, his wife wasn't in the car yet and the tank wasn't full, and he usually tows with it as well. So we haven't even thought about the tow ball weight of the vehicle. Most Land Cruisers that leave the showroom floor with the accessories that you've chosen on it are either over their front axle group loading or rear axle group loading. Okay. Same again, the vehicle wasn't designed to have all the stuff hanging off it, otherwise it would come out standard with it. But there's options available for you, especially those who have a 200 series, keep it. Because you've got a lot of upgrades available to you still. All right. I've come to the conclusion now. I've got a Rugged X Hilux. I've got the last of the 200 series Land Cruisers, and I get GVM upgrades done on all of my vehicles before registration when I order them. Okay. It's just a standard. No vehicle is designed to tow. It's an optional extra you choose to do. All right. Question number one that gets asked me a lot when I go through the things with them, especially the breakaway. Why doesn't the car come out with somewhere to connect the breakaway to? Same again, reason for that is it's not designed to tow. It's an optional extra you choose to do. You've got to set that vehicle up to suit. Okay. You add ball weight to a vehicle, you need to set it up. Anyone here using weight distribution kits? Only one. Come on. Okay, there's a few. Weight distribution was good in their day. There's a lot better technology now. Okay. Do you remember years ago the old Monaro dragging the caravan along the road and its butts dragging along the ground? Okay. That's where weight distribution bars came from. They're not sway bars. They're not anything else like that. They're weight distribution bars. Most people, when we go through our service with them, don't actually know why they use weight distribution. Okay. We go through the correct reasons as to why and why you should or shouldn't have weight distribution bars on there. Okay. Some vehicles do. Yes, you can use weight distribution, but is it set up correctly? The first question we ask our clients is, why do you use the weight distribution bars? Because my uncle years ago used to use it, or my neighbor had them on his, or we've bought the caravan and it came with it, so we just put it on. Okay. All the wrong reasons. What I'm getting at is, if you have a claim or an accident and you've incorrectly fitted something to your vehicle and that's contributed to your accident, you will not get paid out for your claim. Okay. I'm not saying not use weight distribution bars. If you speak to a VAS engineer, they will say to you, definitely not use a weight distribution kit, because they're a band-aid to a problem. If you're getting sag in the rear end, there's a reason for that. Fix the problem. Don't put band-aids on problems. Okay. That is coming from the most highest trained engineer you can find. Okay. Some vehicles, there's no options to upgrade suspension. So we have to use weight distribution, but technology is getting better these days. Okay. Trailers are coming out with DO35s or a hitch that can swivel and turn to keep things as natural as possible. Okay. We're trying to keep things as natural as possible. The trailer can do its own thing. The vehicle can do its own thing. A lot of new vehicles now have sway control. Trailers have sway control. You put a weight distribution kit on there and you're stopping it. You're making it all rigid. You're stopping it to move freely. Okay. Technology is getting better as we move forward. We've just got to adapt, unfortunately. I've got a meeting with Victoria Police next week. They're going to start doing crackdowns in Victoria, and they want me to do education seminars in Victoria. It's to get people safer on the road. All right. If you get a fine by police or Vic Roads, you should be thanking them. You haven't killed someone or injured someone. If you are overweight on the road, you are unroadworthy and uninsured. Okay. It's not about just because we're going to Queensland, we need to be safe. It's the same rules all over Australia. The rules and regulations have not changed anywhere. It's just we are getting held accountable for our actions. Okay. Any questions on that?
You talk about vehicle weights and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
What actually, or who actually determines those weights and why?
Your manufacturer. So every vehicle on the road has a GVM rating and you have to stay within that rating. So
who determines that GVM rating? The manufacturer?
Manufacturer of the vehicle.
And why?
Manufacturer of the vehicle, because they know what their vehicle is capable of doing and to the extent that you can push that vehicle before you start causing trouble.
Okay.
Yep.
Always wondered that.
Yep.
I thought it was something to do with braking effort too. Would
Yep.
that be
So
part
your
of it?
GVM rating is all about your vehicle, what it can do. So what your chassis can handle, what your brakes can handle, what wheels can handle. So when you're stopping, what pressure are you putting on that vehicle? All right, it's all to do with that.
Upgrade at 39.50, do you get many that are overweight?
As I said to you, I haven't had a 79 series pass. So
Even with the 39.50?
it all depends on what you're doing with it. Okay, 79 series not towing with it with a full upgrade on it. Yes, you've got a good chance you're probably passing. Have you got 3 passengers on board? Then no, you haven't
No,
passed.
no.
So things like that. So everyone's, if you have 2 79 series with a 39 upgrade right next to each other with a full tank of fuel with 2 people on board, and one will pass and one will fail. So it's all depending on how your setup is. Yep. So that's a part of our service. If you fail, we give you options. We give you homework to do. How can we fix your problems? Is there an upgrade available? We rang Lovell's direct with this client and we found a solution for him right there and then.
Just a question, in terms of the GVM overall, what are the laws associated with the front and rear axle weights?
Yep. So front and rear axle group loadings is not a road compliance, it's a manufacturing compliance. Okay. So police and Vic roads, RTAs in general, they are generally looking at road compliance. All right. It's more about your insurance. And if you have an accident, then it becomes a criminal matter because you are over the rear axle or front rear axle group loading. Therefore, you're non-compliant on the road. Therefore, you're uninsured, and it sort of escalates from there on in, unroadworthy.
You've mentioned that none of the 100 series pass. We we make a regular trip up the Hume Highway past the weighbridge at the Wallen one. Yep.
Yeah.
Recently went in there with a caravan that I knew was only about 1.5 ton with the load in it, fully loaded. We're on a 100 series fitted with a bull bar, tow bar, roof rack, side steps, winch on the front. It does have aftermarket springs all around and later better quality shock absorbers. According to the weighbridge, I was 200 kilos under the maximum weight on the car itself.
Yep.
And the camper trailer was exactly what I'd planned it to be, which was 1.6. So, and you're telling me that's illegal?
Yep. So I'll explain. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's get to public weighbridges. Does anyone hear why a public weighbridge is correctly being designed for? Trucks. They've been calibrated for 70-ton plus trucks. The load cells in them have got big springs in them. Light vehicles are not heavy enough to push down on those load cells to correctly, accurately give you identified weight. Okay. Public weighbridges allow you to use them, but there's usually a big sign there. It's an indication purposes only. Okay. I say to you, it's all very well for me to stand up here and tell you all of this because I'm selling a service. Okay. Everyone's got phones. Everyone's got Google. All right. Do your research. There's a reason for this. They've been calibrated for 70-ton trucks that are up at that high end weight. So the heavier you are, the more accurate they are. Okay. It's not that they're not calibrated. They certainly are, but different reasons. Give you an example. Your scales at home in your bathroom. If you grab your scales and you put a kilo of flour on there, it's not accurate. If you stand on those scales and then you get handed that kilo of flour, you'll go up a kilo because they've been calibrated to the tolerances of a human weight. Okay. Public weighbridges are no different. They've been calibrated and they certainly are calibrated. There's no reason why they're not, and they have to be calibrated on a regular purpose, but for intended use. They are goods carrying bridges, not road compliance bridges. They can't do individual wheel weights and axle weights. All right. Road compliance, you need individual wheel weights and axle weights. Another example for this is if it was that easy to use a public weighbridge, RTAs, Vic roads, police, why would they have these kits in the back of their cars if it was as easy enough to pull someone on a public weighbridge and save all this money? Okay. Reason for that is because you can't use them for road compliance. A lot of Vic roads are now knocking back compliance certificates from public weighbridges when doing new registrations because they're just not accurate enough. You need individual wheel weights, axle weights, ball weights, especially for trailers, to do it correctly. All right. As I said to you, moving forward, technology is getting better. 7-10 years ago, we didn't have the technology. So we had to use public weigh bridges because that was the best thing we had at the time. Okay. Technology is getting better. There's a lot of public weigh bridges that are actually stopping the public using them for this very reason, because they're getting abused, going, you told me that it was under and it's over, and go to your local tip and things like that. Every single vehicle that goes on one of those, they're doing it for goods carrying. They're not doing it for what their vehicle is weighing. They're doing it for what they're carrying. Okay. Two different ends of the scale. All right. So that's why a lot of people are getting caught in Queensland, because they think they've done the right thing. As long as we're under our GCM or under our GVM, we're fine. They're getting to Queensland and they're getting caught. Yeah, good question. ACCC, it was on the news not long ago. They are getting held accountable for their actions. Up until a while ago, previous to 2019, all tear weights were excluding accessories fitted by the manufacturer. Okay, then the rules changed. It must include all accessories fitted by the manufacturer. So then the manufacturer said, fantastic. Now we'll get the dealers to fit out the accessories. Okay. Most caravans in general only have about a 400 kilo payload. Okay. You've got your tear weight plus your ball weight creates your GTM. Then we'll give you 400 kilo payload, create your ATM. Okay. That's the general rule of thumb. You have a couple of extra accessories fitted to that vehicle, that 400 kilo payload becomes 200 kilo payload. You still think you have your 400 kilo payload, okay? ACCC is now clamping down on that and said, okay, we're now doing spot checks on manufacturers because the information that's getting given out is now no longer correct. Again, they're finding ways to get around this, okay? Through COVID, manufacturers, anyone here got a caravan on order at the moment? Okay, just quickly, how long you got to wait for your caravan? 5-6 months. That's pretty good. So generally speaking, it's 2 to 3 years. Okay. So they're that busy. They're now, a lot of manufacturers are being caught out, only weighing one in about 5 vans and putting the same tear weights on vans. Now I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what trailer you get, you cannot get 2 trailers the same weight. The amount of silicon they use, the amount of screws they use, what tires they put on there, things like that. You will not get 2 trailers the same. So any manufacturer tells you that we're going to build you a trailer and your tear weight is going to be X, tell them they're dreaming, all right? Because they will not know that tear weight until it's finished, all right? We're catching out a lot of manufacturers that this is getting to be a big issue, and that's why ACCC has got involved, because there's a lot of complaints.
Yep. Sorry, just got a couple of questions from the Q&A. So first of all, from Greg West, we've got a question that says, my 105 only has a max axle loading placard. So is that what he complies with?
Correct. So your axle group loading, yes, if that's what it says on your vehicle, you must comply by that unless it's had an upgrade done. And then you go by the upgrade axle group loadings that it's been upgraded to.
Then from David Holsgrove, just a couple of statements. It says the go-way bridges are calibrated to 20 kilos, according to the company. Where are they? Is that correct?
Yes, they are calibrated to 20 kilos, but the overall accuracy is depending on what you're putting on there. So they go up in 20 kilo increments. It's not accurate to 20 kilos. There's a difference. They go up in 20 kilo increments.
And also from David, is VicPol have one set of portable scales, according to his contact at Highway Patrol? Is that
No, that's incorrect, because I've actually seen multiple vehicles, which you'll see in August. The couple of vehicles that will be there, we'll have them in each vehicle.
And just lastly, a question of my own. I could be wrong here, but I heard something to the effect that if you order an accessory or something through the van manufacturer, they only calculate the payload after all of those included items, and especially the added accessories, have been put in. So if you get 400 kilo payload, that's after all those accessories have been installed. Is that correct?
That's the way the rules are, the ADRs are written. Yes, that is correct. Whether they're following the ADRs, this is what's being questioned by ACCC. So that is the current rules at the moment. Once the trailer or the trailer is completed, it should be weighed as it's completed, ready for handover to the client. So that's the current rules at the moment.
Yeah, just saying, we've got a caravan show this weekend. You should go along and create some havoc.
just a question of responsibility, actually. For example, if on your van, the GTM says 3.5, let's take a square number, and you get the registration from Vic Road, it says otherwise. Who's right and who's wrong?
So the compliance plate on a vehicle is always right.
So if you have on the van, on the caravan, it says 3.5.
Yep.
Take a square number, and you get the renewal, for example, and it says otherwise. So the actual compliance is more accurate than the Vic Road one.
Yep. So I'll explain that. So you said GTM. So can I just get the report changed to the second one, please? So this is a generic 3-page report that we give all of our clients. Okay. The first one is a caravan, all of the weights, individual wheel weights and axle weights, and the compliance plate. Okay. The next one is the vehicle coming down. Okay, the vehicle, it's a full report on your vehicle. Okay, individual wheel weights and axle weights there. Okay, and the third page, it brings all this together. It's your combinations and all of your weights together. So what you're saying here is you said GTM. Now a GTM is the middle section of your caravan. It's the box section there. So the GTM is the box section directly over your axles. Okay, so what that means is when your trailer is connected to your tow vehicle, your ball weight becomes part of the payload, leaving you your GTM. Okay, what you're talking about is tear weight on your registration stickers. Okay, that's generally your tear weight. All right, what it was when it was registered. All right, so if you just go back up, sorry, for the first page. All right, so every trailer has a compliance plate. All right, you'll have your axle group loading, you'll have your tear weight, you'll have your GTM, which is that middle section we just discussed on there over your axles, and your ATM, which is the overall weight that your trailer is allowed to be at any one time. Okay, that is what you have to abide by. All right, tow ball mass. Every vehicle has a tow ball mass. All right, the maximum weight of your down ball pressure on your rear end of your vehicle is allowed to be, okay? This becomes part of the payload of your vehicle. This is what sets off a lot of Land Cruisers, all right? Same again, getting back to the original standard physics of it. No vehicle is designed to tow. It's an optional extra you're choosing to do. So instead of carrying passengers, instead of carrying payload, you're swapping it for the tow ball weight, 350 kilo. All right. Trailers in general go up and down. So your ball weight should be 10% of your ATM, what you're weighing in at. So if your van weighs at 2,200, you should be 220 on the ball. Okay. Anything under your 10%, you'll get the tail wagging the dog. We've all seen it. You all go down the highway and you see the rear end of trailers doing this as it goes down. All right. If that is you, pull over to the side of the road and move weight forward, because that's the only reason why you get that. Okay. ADRs for trailers in general have been designed around 10% ball weight. That's the reason for that.
Quick question. How much is the fine if you do get pulled over on the weighbridge or pulled over by the NHVR?
Okay, I was told it's a $470 fine of 3 demerit points per mass you're over. So if we go to that third page, there's 7 different masses you can lose your insurance and get a fine for. You need to be compliant of all 7. This is another one why you can't use a public weighbridge, because it can't do all 7 masses. That's not to mention your manufacturing compliances, individual wheel weights and axle weights. All right. These are road compliance. These are manufacturing compliance. Insurance companies looking at all of it. Okay. You need to abide by all of it. Okay. I will get the exact figures on fines in the coming weeks, because I've got a meeting with Victoria Police.
Once we've had the weights done, how long or what time frame are they valid for?
Yep. So
Or how often should we redo them?
Yep. So it's like a roadworthy. As when you leave, you're still going to get weighed. So it's not like you can, this is a get out of jail card, roadworthy. You take it home, you get pulled up by police. They'll just say, yeah, that's fantastic, But how do we know you didn't go home and load more stuff in there? They're still going to do their job. This is about getting you into your mind frame. We are VAS Engineer and Vic Roads approved or RTA approved, okay? We get regularly audited. We choose to get regularly audited. We don't have to get audited, but we do it because we want to stay ahead of everyone else, okay? We want to be in front of everyone else. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you. You've got over $200,000 worth of assets. You want to protect it, okay? If you're overweight, you're illegal. I don't want you to lose your house over it because that's what's happening. Just Google it. The bloke just got jailed over it.
Yes, got a couple of questions on Q&A. First one's from Shane Hornby. It is, if you're building a vehicle ready for touring and he's waiting to get everything done before he's doing a planned GVM upgrade, is there a leeway for being overweight and a GVM is planned into build?
Answer is no. There is no leeway being overweight. If you're overweight, you are illegal and unroadworthy. Simple as that. There is no tolerance for non-compliance.
Okay. And the second one is from Lee Burns. And it is, where is there an accurate weigh station near Euroa? Only option so far is Seymour Truckway or Station Way in Shepparton, mainly used for trucks.
Same again. Public way bridges are not road compliance bridges. There is not one in the whole of Australia that is road compliance for light vehicles. You cannot be road compliance unless it does individual wheel weights and axle weights. Okay, so you need a mobile person that comes to you or someone who does it on site that does similar to ours. There's now, I believe, about 87 in Australia now doing a mobile service. They're not all Vic Roads and VAS Engineer approved. So you've got to ask these questions. All right. All right. One last thing. Anyone using these hooks on their car to tow? Okay. All right. They're not allowed for towing. They are lifting only. All right. Good way to lose your insurance. If you've got a very good relationship with your insurance company, I would be asking that question. These are rated for lifting static loads only, not for shock loads. Difference. Okay. Shock loads in an accident. All right. The gateway on these is not rated. All right. But the manufacturer has come out and they specifically said these are for lifting only, controlled loads, not for towing. So manufacturers, police, Vic Roads, manufacturers, insurance. What does the manufacturer say? Manufacturer says no. So sorry, you've just lost your claim and got a fine. Okay. There's only two options in Australia. Rated D shackles. Okay. Or rated hook. There's only one in Australia made by Dick's Engineering. It's only been released in the last 12 months. Okay. They are the only two options you can use for towing. Okay. Not he said, she said, and because someone said it on Facebook, that is the truth. All right. Only two options. If you want to push your relationship with your insurance company, keep those yellow hooks on your vehicle. All right. Victoria, it's not a problem until it is a problem. Okay. Every other state, if they see those yellow hooks hanging off your vehicle, they will pull you over and give you a fine for them because for what other reason have you got them on your vehicle for? It's actually written into the Road Legislation Act. In Victoria, it's not a problem until it is a problem. Your insurance is your number one. Your safety is your number one. Injure someone with those yellow hooks on your vehicle and look what comes to you, okay? Everyone who comes and gets our service gets a folder like this, okay? We go through it with you in detail and give you homework to do, okay? Cost, we're offering 10% discount for all members, active members of this club, okay? So make sure you bring along your club cards, all right? And you'll get a 10% discount. Standard price for a tow vehicle and a trailer is $350, including GST. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete the service, okay? We will go through it with you in detail, all right? Bring your members cards along, get the discount, all right? Moving forward, you will then get given a card and that then gets offered to your friends and family. They bring that card along and they will too, in turn, get that discount. All right. You do the hard work. Everyone gets paid back in return. Vehicle only is 300 including. All right, and we get you to load up to your worst case scenario. We want to be as accurate as possible for you, how you would travel at your worst case scenario. I want to take all the guesswork out of it and give you accurate figures. Not that I usually take another barbecue and usually take an extra person, all that sort of stuff. We want to be as accurate as possible at your worst case scenario. As I said to you, I'm going to give you a report accurate to 500 grams. So to take the guesswork out of it, this is your life and safety. We want to be as 100% accurate for you. All right.
Moving on to subcommittee reports. We have the driver training report with Chris Treble.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, Brad. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's okay. We're just about to start off at the start of March. We're into the practical, our first practical event on the 3rd to the 5th of March up at the Arc. We've got about 15 members coming up. So February is completely full. We've also booked out March is completely gone. And I'm halfway through booking out April at the moment with members. So it's a funny thing. It's the most recent members are the most keenest ones to come along. Still chasing people from last year with little response. So if you're still interested from the last year, you're still sitting out from last year, please just come back to me when your vehicle's ready. I think it's had a positive impact about the fact that I'm enforcing that the vehicles be ready before I actually book in, and it's enabled me hopefully to actually contain it and do both sections for the people that turn up to the theory nights, that go along to the practical weekend with the same group and actually do their practical with those same people. So we'll see how it goes this year, but so far it's so good. It is time consuming, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But hopefully it's going to be an improvement on what we experienced last year with people not able to turn up with different things and shuffling chairs on the Titanic is what I would call it. But so far so good. But we'll see how we go on the weekend up at Yark in March. That's about it, unless anyone's got any questions. Thanks, Brad.
Okay, Chris, any questions for Chris? No? Education, Liz Mills.
Good evening, everybody. Lovely to see a big group here again tonight. Firstly, I want to thank James Azam for a fantastic first aid course that he did the other day. It was just an incredible one and everybody had a really good time. We had about 21 members who are now qualified. And thanks also to Gabby and Grace for their assistance that weekend, and to Jeanette, who is my 2IC. And she oversaw the weekend for me, and also her assistant, Brett. There'll be another one next year and will be just as good, I'm sure. Now, the next courses we have March, Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th. We have Bush Mechanics with Brad Schaefer. Brad has kindly opened it up to more members. He had it down as for 10 people, but we had a huge waiting list. So he's opened it up now to, I think it's 20, but the people now have filled it that were on the waiting list. So unfortunately that is booked out for this year. And also that same weekend of the 18th, 19th of March, we have trip catering and camp cooking. We have about 3 places left on that. We will be discussing catering for short and outback trips. Alison Hilton will be demonstrating the buddy that you can use in the car. She's very good at using that, so she'll be telling you about that. And and also have fun cooking whatever gourmet selection you would like on the hot coals, so you can get a bit of experience with cooking on hot coals while you're traveling. I've been very lucky again this year. Viv Moon of the famous people that do the books and the traveling books, Ron and Viv. She has very kindly given me some of her books again this year for prizes. So there'll be a few of those handed out. So get your recipes ready, those that are going. And these will be about the last books available for her cooking. And all the tips and tricks that she gives in these really good books, because it's all going digital. So you will have to, in the future, load it up on your iPads or whatever you use, your phones, if you want to have recipes for while you're traveling. Talking about things, you know, up at Yark, my thanks go very much to Brian Stewart and his members of his Yark team. They're always very open to ideas for the property. I suggested a different fire surround for the camp cooking. We have to try and keep a lot of coals when there's a lot of people cooking, and they're very hard to get out of the fire that was there, the pit that was there. So we suggested another way of doing it. And all of a sudden, there's a whole new campfire, which is much easier for us to get the coals out. So thank you very much for the team up there. They do so much great work, and it'll be fun using our new camp cooking area. Okay, the next one after that is on Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th of May. We've got HEMA for mapping with Justin Gill. Justin is an expert in the HEMA HX2 navigator and all the HEMA products. So he will be coming to do a weekend with us with that. And he goes through about trip planning and putting courses on your gadgets, your HEMA gadgets. Unfortunately, it is filled. So put your name down on the waiting list just in case one or two cancel, and we can swap you on there. Chainsaw course, I'm talking to Four Wheel Drive Vic at the moment. I'm hoping they can do it maybe the very beginning of October or maybe November. I have to be careful when we have that because of sparks from the chainsaws, so I can't do it during summer months. And winter months are hard because if the timber is wet, it's too dangerous. So keep an eye on the website for that. Hopefully that will be up for you to book in before too long. So I'll keep thinking about different courses for you. So that's about it for tonight. Thank you.
Trip conveners report.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all here. We've got a few places left in the 50th anniversary trips. They're on the website if you want to join in. It's going to be a great weekend, plenty to do and lots of fun. If you haven't booked in, I think there might only be a couple of places left, so you might have missed the boat. But we'll do a movie so you see what you missed out on. Also, we haven't got any vacancies on any trips other than Colin Hardy's, and his is a 3-month trip. It's in the book on the website if you want to have a go at that. But we have another trip just listed today from our very energetic and enthusiastic trip leaders, Brian and Rita. And also, I'm very proud to say that 2 of our newest trip leaders who only did the course about 3 weeks ago are running 2 trips this weekend. So they've been very well received by the members. The members, all their trips are full, so that's good. And I'm just waiting for more trips to be listed. So any trip leaders that aren't busy or got other things to do, I'm sure the members would love to have some more trips put up. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Viv. And now we have the Toyota Land Cruiser Club National Gathering 2025 report from John Mills.
Good evening, all. Right, well, we are progressing quite nicely, actually. We've almost certainly tied up where we're going, and we're definitely going to Mansfield. Or no, sorry, we are going to Mansfield. There's a few little things to tidy up. We need to just establish the final things with the showgrounds, and we'll be at the showgrounds. So we've made tremendous strides in the last couple of months. And I'd like to thank Peter Hepworth for all the effort he's put in to do that, because not only are we getting support from the Mansfield, the Shire is also coming in behind us. And the Shire is giving us lots of support and lots of offers of help. So that's really great. So we've got to the point now where we've got past that first couple of months where I said that we'd be in a planning situation. We're now getting into going forward now where we're going to start to form the subcommittees. Now, I've got a list of a few people who put the name forward. It's not enough. What we'll need to do is to get heads of each group, and we need to get a group of people working in beside them. My vision is at the end of this, we'll end up with not just a couple of people doing the job, working their guts out, but we'll have a lot of people being involved. And when we leave, I mean, I won't be doing this again. I'd like to leave behind a situation where someone else has had some experience ready to step up to do it the next time around. And that's where we've got to go. So if you're interested in being involved, interested in learning something, because there's a lot to learn, then step up, put your hand up. I'm quite happy to take names and numbers tonight. If you've got any preferences of what you'd like to do, I'm quite happy to consider that as well. So our subgroups will be, we need an admin subgroup, which will look after all, well, I suppose the admin. We need a finance group to keep Marcus off our back. We need a catering team. And the catering team is important because we put a meal on it for everyone one night, a 3-course dinner. And there's other catering stuff to do as well. So we need a catering team. We need people to look after the site and the campground. Basically what you'd call a works and jerks group who do all the things that no one else wants to do. Plus to make sure that we keep it nice and sweet with the showgrounds. We need people to handle the registrations, and that's no mean feat because everyone seems to have their idea how they want to do things. I send stuff out and people don't come back. I say, can you fill this form out? It doesn't come back filled out. So, you know, registration is a very important thing because we've got to get all those numbers right. We need someone to handle our sponsors, and we do need sponsors. We've been talking around the table here tonight about sponsors. We need people to get sponsorship. Each time we've been to show, it have been these events in the last few years, they've given away a show bag, and the sponsors, you know, put items in the show bag. You know, we're rather hoping we can be in a situation where we can get some of the sponsors perhaps to come one night, and maybe, you know, we'll have like almost a mini field day. People can come and turn up. Tourism, we need people to handle tourism, and that might be strange because we are a one-off event, but tourism is going to go a bit further because if you're coming from WA, you're not just going to come here for a 6-day event with us. You're going to be wanting to do stuff before and stuff afterwards. So we want to be able to sort of offer you, you know, if you want to go here, you know, here's a commercial trip you can go on, or, you know, we've got the man from Stowy River coming up 2 weeks after we finish. So that's the sort of thing that we want to offer, but we need someone to head that side up and get all that thing, all those sorts of things put together in a package so we can offer it to people during the process of the planning. And when we get people booked in, we can send them all that information for their benefit. And of course, we need trips. And we're going to need lots of support from our trip leaders. All these trips will need to be run by a trip leader. Bearing in mind, if we have 100 people, and in the high country, we don't like running trips with more than 10 people in a trip. So we're going to have to be running at least 10 trips a day over 5 days. Think about that. So we are going to lean very heavily on our trip leaders. So I'm going to start being nice to you, okay? Particularly Viv. All right, so okay, so but no, we're, you know, look, just as we've done for the 50th, you know, if Viv wants us to take a back step, you know, we're fine. No, someone else needs to step up and do that role. All right. So I'm sitting on that table, on table 55. If anyone wants to come and talk to me afterwards, Michael Martin's here. He's on the team. Alison and Chris are also on my table on the team. Who else is on team? Anyone else here tonight? Oh, and Michael Burke. I keep forgetting Michael Burke, but he's only the IT person, the most important person we've got on team at the moment. All right.
John.
Oh, sorry, and I've got Neil as well. Yeah.
John, I've got a question. In WA, we didn't just have 4-wheel drive trips. There were other trips available, cultural trips and so on that were run. Are they being considered as well?
Yes, we'll have some formal trips, and we'll have some what sort of mud map trips, is I think what you're talking about. Yes, we'll probably have to do that. They'll be obviously optional, and you'll just pick up a piece of paper from control or from admin, and that'll give you a running trip for the day. Obviously, we're going to have to be careful of that because we don't want to. One of the criticisms with WA was a lot of the trips went through the same events, you know, the same areas, 2 or 3, you know, each about 3 or 4 trips went to the same area. We need to try and avoid it. It's going to be pretty hard to get the high country. We're probably going to go much the same way for everybody. But, that's where the coordinator comes in, is to try and spread people out. We want to do one day at Yark. So I anticipate, and this is yet to be confirmed, that'll be sort of part of your program. Everyone will be rostered into a day at Yark. So you won't get trips on, this group won't get a trip on a Monday, this group on a Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. They will go to Yark Monday, they'll go to Tuesday, so on. So that'll be a trip, maybe around Lake Eildon, arriving at Yark, maybe for lunch, putting on a lunch for them at Yark, giving them a couple of hours in the afternoon where we can take them out for a bit of a drive around the property, and give them a choice of whether they want to do difficult trips or difficult tracks or easy tracks, and then back to Mansfield in the evening for a happy hour. We need to do things at happy hour. WA went ballistic and they basically fed us every night for happy hour. I don't anticipate we're going to do that, but it'd be nice if we could just have a cheese and some biscuits, something like that, to encourage people to come in for happy hour, to get that inter-club community. Right? So it's going to be, it's your event. It's not my event. It's not the wide planning team's event. It's your event. It's up to you. We're inviting people from other states to come and visit us. It's up to you guys to make sure that this is a success. Basically, we've now got 2 years. We're counting down for 2 years. Okay. So anyone wants to come and talk to me, please do. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Plenty of opportunity there to get involved. Alison, Geelong report, please.
Thanks, Brad, and good evening, everybody. Great to see you all here. We had a wonderful social at Lake Elizabeth. I think we had 25 people there, great day, and some really keen people did the big walk around the lake, and quite a few just did the walk in and out, and a few sat around the campfire. We had a really interesting guest speaker at Geelong, Full Bore Automotive. He was really, really interesting. I think he spoke for 50 minutes and everyone was really interested, so we kept going. He really knows his stuff. Full Bore also have a business in Kilsyth. They've just recently, within the last 2 years, opened in Geelong. We've got a social coming up in March, so keep an eye out for that. And our guest speaker at next month's meeting is a XTM, a fuel additive. So hopefully he'll be interesting too. And everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Alison. Barb, did you want to give a report on the 50th, please?
Good evening, everyone. How is everybody? Okay, 50th anniversary, as you know, is coming up on the 25th of March, and we're doing really well in numbers. We still have 5 spots left. We've had a cancellation tonight, so we now have 5 spots left. So if you're interested in coming, please go online and register. We also still have some polo shirts that we have over here. If anybody's interested in taking one tonight, we have a rugby top in navy and red in an XL. We have an iris t-shirt in a small and a navy t-shirt in a small, a sky blue polo in a medium, XL and a 2XL. So we have them over there if anybody's interested in trying them on and wants them. Please come and do so. We also are selling raffle tickets for an ARB 60-litre fridge. $5 a ticket or 3 for 10. So if you want to buy some tickets tonight, we'll have them on sale over here in the back corner. We'll also have them on sale in the March meeting. And also for those that are coming along, we'll be selling them on the night as well. Okay, any questions? Anybody have any questions about the evening?
Proceeds to RFDS?
And the proceeds, that's right, are going to the Royal Flying Doctor Service. So it's going to a good cause. So nothing's going to the club, it's all going to RDF. Okay, thank you. And also to just in membership, if there's any new members here that do not have their badges, please come and see me. I may have them over there for you. Thank you.
Yark Management, Brian Stewart.
Evening, everyone. Good to see a good turnout tonight. But just before we sort of get into that, I'd just like everybody to just sort of give a bit of a thought to a lot of our club members are sort of having a bit of a battle at the moment, some health issues and what have you. So just give a bit of a thought to, to those people who can't get along to our meetings and what have you and get out and about at the moment. Okay. this weekend coming up. We're expecting a busy weekend. So it's going to give the opportunity to, with the bush dance and that on, for a few people to sort of come up and actually see what the team does and have a look and see what we have been doing over the since COVID. We've been doing quite a bit of stuff, getting stuck into it. And now that we've got our vegetation plan and the tree stuff sort of approved by committee, our working papers, we can start planning on where we're going with, removing some of this Bergen and what have you, and a bit more tree planting. The CFA, or the RFB now, the Rural Fire Brigade, as they're being called, changing their name, they're having a field day on the 18th of March, and that'll be held down in the Recreation Reserve in Yark, in there behind the pub. So they're quite willing to sort of have us along there and as guests and what have you, and join in with their festivities or demonstrations on everything. They've also, coming up to our property on Saturday, this coming Saturday, they're going to be checking over all our fire extinguishers and all that sort of stuff. They're also bringing a few fire extinguishers up, which I think people can purchase. Is that correct, Gary? Sure, okay. But they're bringing some up, all right. Okay, righto. And they'll also check, our personal fire extinguishers if we need them to do that. And also, in our Yark budget, each year we allow for a donation to the RFB. It's hard to say that. So we sent off a donation of $800 last month, I think it was, that Marcus sent that off, and we've received a reply back from them. I'll read it to you. Hello, the Yark Rural Fire Brigade has received your generous donation of $800 and would like to thank you for your continued support. Attached is a copy of the receipt for your records. Your contribution has enabled us to now purchase an Aussie Quick Prime 4-inch outlet pump to fill our tankers from dams and other water sources during a going fire. If you could pass on our thanks to your committee and members, it would be very much appreciated. Regards, Mike Manning, Treasurer, Yark Rural Fire Brigade. Okay, not a lot else to say. Just come up and enjoy the weekend and the bush dance, and it should be fun.
Thanks, Brian. We have video or photos? Thanks.
Safety talk. Okay, the most important thing today is to get back for happy hour at 4:30, safe and with no injuries, and lunch.
That
one.
Sorry, whenever. Well, yeah, the alarm's going off at 1. If you haven't had lunch by then, you better think about it.
Okay, 12:30 is for lunch. Everybody's responsible for their own safety and other people's safety, so look after people and speak up if you need to. Stop and think about the task that you're doing. If it's outside your comfort zone, don't do it, and have a chat with whoever's team leading that activity. There's no shame in speaking up. Generally be a team leader for each of the tasks, so you'll probably work out who that is once you get allocated your theos. It's going to be hot today, so make sure you've got water and sunscreen. Monitor channel 15 on your mobile radio so everybody knows where people are, the movements and things, wear the appropriate PPE. First aiders today are Brenda, Richard, myself, any other first aiders? Alan. In the unlikely event that there is an injury, channel 15, don't move the patient. The defibrillator across here, AED in the cupboard, first aid cabinets on the bench over here. So just get on the radio and just request the DFIP in the first aid box. You might not need the DFIP, but we automatically send that out regardless.
Not the Scouts, really.
Yeah, so come back for lunch at about 12:30. And happy hour at 4:30. Safe and aim for no injuries. We don't need the paperwork. As I said, enjoy yourself.
Maintenance. So anyone would like to come along, we still have people can register as well. Go to the website. Also, any new members, we'd really like them to come up and have a look at the property and enjoy a good night. Also, now we're going to kick off at 6 o'clock with a barbecue, and then the dancers, we've got a band and they start at 7. Everyone, you need to bring plates, your nibbles and cutlery. Bring your own. Also, you'll have a great night. It's going to be really good. We just need anyone else that wants to come, you can still register. Now, also, we're going to have another event in April, which will be the 2nd of April. We're going to Trafalgar, which is the Holden Museum up at Trafalgar. And then if everyone could turn up around 10:30 or around before, if you want, at the Holden Museum. We'll give you more details later on. And then we're going to drive through the hills and go to Blue Rock Dam. And then at lunchtime, we'll be going to Willow Grove Pub, which is an Irish pub up at Willow Grove. So all the details will be further to come, but put that in your diary and we'd love to see you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next report is special events, Steve Smith.
Evening all. Special events involves, well, on this occasion, finding people to go to the morning expo to represent the club. The expo is going to be held on the 10th to 13th of March at Mornington Racecourse. By attending the marquee and selling the club, obviously you get free admission to the expo, and with sufficient people per shift, it enables a couple of you to go and do the show, and usually involves bringing 100 grand with you to buy a new van.
But obviously there's all the latest and greatest, that, everything from tent pegs and ropes and anything else you might need. So the way it stands is we've got obviously some volunteers have already put their hand up, and thank you very much for those that are here that have done that. We're doing the setup on a Thursday. We've got 4 people to do that, but we've still got empty shifts. Like nobody's there for Friday afternoon. Nobody's there for Sunday afternoon. And if we haven't got people there, we'll just shut the stand, which I'm sure will make the treasurer very disappointed, seeing he's had to put his hand in his pocket and pay about $1,400 for the club to be there. It'd be a real shame if we can't man the stand with a club of 500 or 600 people. We've got some people that are going to be there all day. Some people can only do a couple of hours. Some people can do 10 till 3. And I'm very grateful for that. But it's certainly disappointing that the way it stands at the moment, we won't be able to man the stand for the weekend. It's our opportunity to draw in new members. And without new members, then the club will gradually reduce in size and become a non-event. So anyway, if you can find the time, as I say, 10th to 13th of March. If you can find the time, send an email to events, or I'm sure my phone number somewhere. Hopefully hear from you soon.
Thanks, Steve. I'd encourage anyone who's looking for something to do that one weekend to get in touch with Steve, spend half a day manning the stall and the other half day spending your money at the show, if you can. Just before we go to the next report, stats on tonight's meeting, we have 87 members or people in the room and 1 guest being Dion. And online we have 18 on Facebook and 30 on Zoom. So certainly the popularity of coming back to the live event is getting stronger.
Evening all, I'm stepping in for Laurie this evening. Laurie's actually travelling, he's up somewhere around Bacchus Marsh, and I think he's on Starlink and his service is a bit dodgy. So that just goes to show that sometimes even Starlink, the new technology, doesn't always work. So just on the webmaster, we really don't have much. You've probably seen Laurie's been very busy putting up some new calendars that you might have seen on the website. This is in response to allowing people to be able to search to see what's on. It was a bit difficult to try and combine them all into one search where you could just do and it'd bring up everything. So he's broken it up. So next time you're on the website, you'll see there's a number of calendars there. There's one for YARC, there's one for DA, there's one for trips and events. So if you want to see if there's something going on a particular weekend or week, that's where you can go and get the information. The only other request from the webmaster is we're screaming out for help to do with our production team here. So if anybody would like to assist, it can be as simple as my beautiful wife's doing, holding the camera, holding the microphone, just moving around, because we're not always going to be here. And we do need probably about 5 people per night to do it. So if you're interested, we can show you what to do. It's pretty easy and it'd be great. So if you just wander up to myself or one of the other team at the front of the desk here. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we have a video, Springtime at Alan's Flat, with trip leaders Alison Hilton and Chris Atkins. The video has been edited by Viv Gardner.
Around with at least some blue sky and the sun is out. So as we discussed, we're going to head out towards Bright and Wandellagong. So that's bitumen all the way to there, and I'm guessing that's probably going to be 50 minutes driving. Google will tell me in a minute, but around 50 minutes driving.
Watch out on Bright when you come over it.
beautiful. Keep going. Good car wash. Woo, beautiful. Cheers to everyone. We're having a lovely weekend. The weather's been great today.
Tracks have been awesome. Company's been fantastic.
And we tested the Ridge Run to Harriettville.
It's great, isn't
Well,
it?
we didn't get to Harriettville.
And do you want to introduce our host?
This is Anthony. This is his place, and we love coming up here and enjoying. Really, just
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's awesome. So, Alison, what have we got for dinner tonight?
We're having roast chicken
Roast chicken.
in the inox oven.
Oh, look at
With
that.
roast potatoes and broccoli and beans.
See what
And
you're
it's
all
ready to
missing
go.
out.
And Master Chef Chris is going to come and carve the chickens.
Yeah.
Meeting is closed at 9:18. Thank you, everyone.